Hey, Kathleen here. This is episode number 7. I'm not going to count the introduction one as a number in there, but this is episode number 7 in my series about how to be a more welcoming faith community. And one of the things to do is greeters. Who's there when you walk in? Think about this. You go to a friend or a neighbor's house or a family member's house, and what happens? How do you expect to be greeted and welcomed at the door? And what if nobody was there? Sometimes if it's a good friend, the door may be open. They say, come on. You walk in and say, hi, and nobody greets you. Then what? Might think nobody's home. Might be ready to leave at that point. We want to be welcomed. We want to know that our presence there is, that it's appreciated, it's wanted, and so we want to be welcomed. Okay, so how do we do that at a faith community, whether it's a church, a synagogue, a mosque, a temple? How do we do that? And one of the ways to do that is with greeters. It's people at every entrance to say, hey, hi, glad you're here. And not just pointing this out for visitors, but for everyone who walks in the door, because some of our own members don't always feel welcomed either, or much appreciated. They may think that, there's other people who are more welcome here than I am. So we need to have greeters who are there for everyone. And it's a good idea to train them a little bit in what to say. If they know a number of people in the congregation, they may say, hey, welcome to all of those, and then be far less enthusiastic about somebody they don't know, or not sure, to say, oh, you're a visitor here, and they may be talking to a longtime member who they may worship at a different service, or who has been away for a while and fear of embarrassing themselves or somebody else who's a longtime member. So what can you train them to say? Something like, give their name and, I haven't met you before. Please, are you a member here? Are you visiting here? Just ask a question. Take the responsibility for not knowing on yourself. And if they are a visitor and you do find somebody who's a visitor there, then what do? How do you welcome them in? Just give them the worship information and say, go sit down? Or do you maybe have somebody else who's there to, if there's especially somebody who doesn't know your worship style, can explain some things, help them know where restrooms are, help invite them to say that after the worship there's some fellowship time and some food down in this certain area, please stay. I remember there was a time where I was doing some studying at a place, and it was for a couple of months. And I found a local congregation that I would go and worship at on Sunday mornings. And it was a small congregation, kind of a new one. And the first time I was there, somebody came up and welcomed me and said, we have this time of fellowship and a little bit of food afterwards. Please come and join us. And that felt really good. It felt like, they wanted to have me come back again. And so I've heard about people when there's children, inviting them to Bible classes, Sunday school, whatever they may have for children after a worship service or something like that. So how can you help somebody feel part of, and that their presence there is, you're glad that they're there. And, if they're in the area, maybe you'd like to see them again. So, and what about asking them for, any kind of feedback? Is there anything that you would like to know that we didn't explain to you? Can we help you understand, if you'd like to become a member, what do we do? And actually, this would be a good time to share this. There's a congregation, not sure exactly where it is, but George Dillard, somebody here on Facebook, excuse me, on LinkedIn, shared this with me that during the pandemic, they put up a couple of very large signs throughout their facility, and there were 4 separate QR codes on there, and each of the QR codes led people to something else. So if they had a question about becoming a member, there was one QR code they could scan, and that would get information to the proper person or church office, and could be followed up on that. And there were 3 other categories of activities with different QR codes. So that's a really neat thing. You could put it in a bulletin, you could put it around the facility, you could put it out in your newsletter, something like that. Something out in the community. If you're interested, if you have questions, any of those kinds of things, you could do that with some QR codes. And so people, younger people now, with all the technology and understanding of how to use those and what to do with them, that's a good way to help facilitate that process of being friendly, welcoming, and greet people with something like that. So this is Kathleen. Come back again next time. There are going to be several more of these videos and ideas. So stay tuned for the next one. And until then, God's peace and God's blessings.